Professor Sauer, thank you very much for the wonderful insight from the first part. Now we go to the a little bit more unpleasant, if you wish, side of our show. We want to talk with prominent scientists about challenges in academia, right? Yeah. Usually I summarize quite a few, but I've stopped doing this because I repeat myself always. And then I just ask people, what do you think has to be changed in order, for our field to run better, to be more efficient, other than having more money? This is definitely the case.
This is an easy answer, right? But this is a super difficult question, of course, as well. If I would have a clear solution to that, I would probably not sit here. But I think we have to give people earlier perspective. We carefully discuss with our students after they finish their PhD if they really would like to do or try a scientific career or not, right? And if not, then they should do maximum 2 years of postdocs or so, and then try to get out of academia and find their job in the industry. Today, it's still often, I still see that everywhere, that people they are undecided and they don't know exactly what to do, and then they stay in academia, here a postdoc, there a postdoc, and they have 5 years of postdoc, and then they are not anymore that interesting for industry. There will not be more jobs in the future for professors. I don't think so. In contrast, I think it might be even less jobs available at universities, because each of the states has in the moment reductions, and we have to save money, and there are no new professors appointed in some of the German states in the moment. In Bavaria, we got a cut of 14% to everything. So I'm not very optimistic in this direction. Therefore, it's much more important to talk to those interested and really talented people that there's going to be an effort to succeed, and tell them clear, you have to work hard, and it's a competitive field, and that there are not so many jobs, and not to encourage PhD students or early postdocs to stay for another postdoc and another postdoc and another postdoc. I'm rather afraid that you destroy their lives with that. That's unfortunately the only thing I can recommend. To be very clear to your postdocs that this is very, very competitive, and the chances that you will fail are not that high, are pretty high, the other way around. So, in my case, I only can say that about 50% of the people that try to do a career under my supervision, they succeeded, but only about 50%, right? Or the others. And this is really a sad story to see people that they invest a lot of time, efforts into science, and then you see after 5 years or 6 years they don't find a job. And in the last 20 years or so, we still had these permanent positions at the universities. Many of these permanent positions, not many, but enough, much more than we have today in this way. And they are cutting those positions as well everywhere, and this is a disaster, a personal disaster then for the people.
The so-called staff scientists, which actually are very good for a working lab.
Sure,
because you invest years in somebody who is studying
to maintain knowledge, and it's super important for departments, for labs, those positions, but they are cut off, and no chance. We have to save more money and blah blah blah, and then this contract politics, that you're allowed to have only contracts for a few years, and then they are changing the rules every few years, and this is not good and not very motivating to people to stay in academia, right?
How do you feel about the publishing story? Because let's say, I'm finishing soon my PhD, right? And I want to pursue, for example, academic career, right? Usually, as you mentioned, you have these limited contracts, 2-3 years, where you have to actually produce a paper, at least, right? Well, the best is to publish in the top-notch journals for
Absolutely.
whatever reason.
Absolutely.
But very often now, if you open a paper and check when the paper was submitted and when it was actually published, there is 1.5 to 2 years gap sometimes.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to publish in Nature when I have 2 years contract and the publishing is lasting 2 years? Right?
You have to submit a super duper paper that leaves no question open.
Yeah.
Now, this is a serious problem, of course. Usually we also count about a year for a high impact publication, that it takes about a year at least, if not longer. And this is for a PhD student almost impossible to realize. That's fact, unfortunately. But thanks, on the other hand side, we have these preprint servers nowadays, because in some cases, and at the University of Würzburg it's the case, that you can only receive the rate magna cum laude or summa cum laude for your PhD if you have published at least one first author paper. And meanwhile, bioarchive is okay, right? This reduces a little bit the pressure, but still, if you leave the lab after your PhD defense, somebody else has to take over and do these revisions, experiments and everything. We should change the system, definitely. It's just, the question is just who starts and when, right? I mean, if we only upload our papers all to bioarchive, they are immediately accessible to everybody, and we would also save a lot of money paying Springer and other
Elsevier
and Wiley, because I mean, it's ridiculous what they the publication costs meanwhile, right? More than 10,000 euros for a Nature Neuroscience or Nature Methods open access. You have to jump out in a way, but I don't know how actually. I mean, because if you then, as a younger scientist, apply for a position, the evaluation committee will immediately check your publication track record. And, there's a Nature or Science paper or something. We have to stop doing this maybe, and look more into details. What did he work on? Maybe even read parts of the PhD defense or whatever, or interview them in person and give them a chance. But this is time consuming.
When you have like 300 applicants for a position,
and we don't have the time. But what they do in the US, for example, Janelia Farm, HMI institutions, if they advertise a group leader position or so, they receive the applications, and then these applications are evaluated anonymous, so without names on it. Maybe that's at least a fair process, I often think. And without publications.
Okay, interesting.
About that. So just the idea, because you have to write a proposal, what you would like to do as a group leader there, and they read just these proposals, for example. This would be a fair process.
Of course, if you are in the field, you would see this
proposal. It comes most probably from this from this group or another group. So of course, also here I have no answer, but ideally you would all jump out of this nature science pressure in a way. But it's much easier said than really practiced. As long as everything is evaluated on the basis of nature and science papers.
That's the thing. Your grant rely on this, your career, and then
everything.
It's
everything.
It's just and there's so much. I'm sorry, but so much crap in these journals. Where you basically, how is this there? Like, no way.
No
way.
You are not the only person. It often happens that you read a paper published in Nature Science or Nature blah 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 or whatever, and you really think about or cannot understand why it has been accepted there. But it's. I mean. The editors, they are very powerful at these journals, right? And this is something one can discuss as well. In principle, editors can make careers. And whether this is good as it is, I don't know neither. I do not want to push editors. They try to do their best job, I'm pretty sure, right? But the responsibilities they have, making decisions about future careers of people, difficult. That's a difficult situation, I would say. Yeah.
If one think about it a little bit deeply, you as an editor, you can push a certain field, even though the field is generating press, but it's not that important. And then something that is actually really important stays away because, well, few people are interested in, right?
Right.
Therefore, it's a very tricky position.
Yeah. I mean, it comes back to you have to be at the right time, with the right question in your paper and submit it. I mean, that's all. A little bit of luck. That's all. No, it's very difficult. It's very difficult and hard to foresee often. Yeah.
Do you think like government needs to intervene or something? Because I was like looking into this in retrospect in history, and in before the Second World War, all societies, they had their journals. They also have it right now, and they basically publish the work of whatever physical chemistry or cell biology, I don't know. In societies, they always publish the work, and suddenly at some point this was a little bit too much, and kind of you try to outsource, you invite publishers that take over, and then now they completely took over. You still have the societies that have their own journals, but probably they're not that popular. And still, like if you think about, okay, science is public funded good, why is the fruit of science in a private hands, right?
Yeah, it's difficult to track how it came exactly. Yeah, sure. I mean, staying with these society journals could be a solution. Publishing more in these society journals, but I mean, we have this system now, and we have to live with it in a way. And the question is rather how we can, in a way, change the system as we have it today.
Yeah.
And this, I think, sooner or later there will become more pressure because the prices for these journals will further steadily increase, and the universities and institutes are already now under pressure. It's too expensive. Yeah. Maybe pressure from this side can change a little bit the system in the future. If we end up that only luxury institutions can afford to pay licenses or whatever, for specific journals and publish in these journals, then we developed further into the wrong direction.
Yes.
I think so. So
yeah,
there must be some also maybe political influence and.
It's a tough question. Well, let's hope that through discussions like this, we can inspire somebody to eventually take a closer look, think about it, and try to introduce some solution for that is more or less acceptable for most of the parties. Let's put it that way.
Hopefully, that's our hope, of course. Yeah. Hope of everybody. Yeah.
Professor Sauer, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yes. It was my pleasure.
Yeah.